Hello, this is Edison Trent, and today we're going to the first update video of the Flying Wing Concept Challenge. Now, we're gonna start with the Miss Streamline. Why? Because it's the first ship which pretty much has the most information and pictures on it currently. Now, the Flying Wing challenges, I got a lot of questions from some of you folk on the forum, and pretty much everything is allowed as long as it's a flying wing and fits the other parameters of the challenge. Now, some people seem to think that the stealth part is mandatory, which is not. It's just a suggestion, and I really love some of the concept ships, but I took this ship as an example because there are the most pictures of it, the most images, and that's pretty much the only reason why this is the first ship we're gonna take a look at. Now, as you can see in some of the pictures, there are already some pictures of the interior. You can see the wings. It's mostly a flying wing. It has that little spoiler I see also in the Starfare, and I really like it. Also, I really think the ship fits MISC perfectly. You can see it on pretty much everything. The Starfare spoiler, even the window, you can see it here, right here now, right, looking good. It's really something that you look at a MISC ship and you'll see the same kind of window, and this ship actually has it. Now, the folding up wings are a nice additional touch. I think it's pretty much of the Reliant, and I absolutely love it. Also, the information the person has given on the ship. You know, he has a background of the ship and everything, which is really, really nice. Now, further on to the folding up wings. Something like this is really something which is needed if you're gonna build to the big spectrum of the challenge, or at least advisable, since something like this really limits its size in the beam. Why? And that helps the ship being able to park on more planets. Now, that said, the ship is not 100% perfect. There are some things I would maybe like to see changed, like the air intake. I would maybe put a little bit of fencing down it. So, but on the other side, I'm like, it's perfect. I don't want to change too much about the ship because I already love the look of this ship. The engines which can turn over, which we're now actually gonna show you inside one of the videos he actually has. I believe the engines will turn over in this. You can see the engines turn over when it starts to land for vertical takeoff. I really love that small thing. You can also see they go back. Now, one of the things I really love about this ship is simplicity yet effective. Sure, there are moving parts in the ship design, but all the moving parts are concentrated in the places where they make sense. Now, that said, that does not mean this ship is unbeatable. Actually, here you see one of the things I found smart. He actually thought about the escape pods. You can clearly see that here. The escape pods are on the top of the ship. Now, if you're building a smaller ship and you use fixed wings, you might want to think of putting the escape pods in the wings. Now, for this ship, I think it makes sense for them to be on top, either on top or on the bottom. Likely on top because that way they shoot over the wing. Since this wing is not too high, also something you need to think about. Because else, let's say your ship's moving forward in that direction and you shoot out your escape pods and they get hit by the wing. That's not something you want to have happen. Now, here we have the story he has behind it. Pretty much it's simple, introducing the MISC slipstream. Following the enormous success of the Reliant Flying Wing design, MISC's newest fleet edition is aimed to this discerning hauler which values efficiency and discretion above all else, while housing a Sizable shielded cargo hold is flat profile combined with additional heat sinks enable the pilot to leave a very light footprint for a ship this size. Now, this means it's gonna be stealthy for a ship of its size. That does not mean it's gonna be stealthy compared to something like a Hornet Ghost, in my opinion, or even a Sabre. Those ships are really meant for stealth, and this is more something like, yeah, you can still pick me up on radar, especially if you use active radar, but if you use passive one, the heat signals and the EM signals are the ones that are gonna be picked up. Well, heat is pretty much the easiest ones. As you can see in some of the images he actually makes. He actually put extra heat sinks around here in the wings, which disperse the heat, which give it a lower heat signature, which makes it harder to spot that way. Now also something, powerful long-range emission engines are designed to take the most profitable training route while indicating pirates a run for the money. This means I expect the ship to be fast for its size and hold a decent amount of cargo. Not as much cargo as the Hull C, at least I think it's the Hull C that he gives here an example of the size down here. It will likely have less cargo but be better offensive a bit. Don't get me wrong, it's not a combat ship and I hope it stays that way. Now here you can see a nice shot from the front. Folded up wings when landed. One gun on the front. I believe there are two guns on the back. And you can actually see here the cockpit, which I absolutely adore. This is a side shot. Here you can see it back. Underneath these wings, I believe here are two turrets, but I could be wrong. So it's actually more designed to... Oh shit, I got pirates. Let's give full gas and shoot them while I'm fleeing from them. Not I'm gonna come into combat and take it out. Now let's see, I believe here you can definitely see those extra heat spreads. Those will spread the heat of the engines likely, but there are just heat spreads. It's not like the ship will be invisible on radar. It will be spottable, but it will be harder to spot as other ships its size. Now, this is one of the cockpit views. Pretty much, I think the first view he renders, and I actually like this view. You see two chairs. Now, of course, the rest is pretty barren. It's just the first one, and I hope we will see more of these kinds of pictures. This is not a top view. Oh, damn, I really want to see one of those back turrets. I thought I had one. There's another one of the cockpit view while you're sitting in there. And here we have one while you're sitting in there looking at the right side. Come on. Okay, I believe there actually currently are no pictures of the back where you can get a good look at those turrets, but overall I love this ship and I love pretty much all the ships so far entering the competition, and I hope people will enter more pictures. If you do have an own page, feel free to drop a link into the comments because I am looking for one to give the next update. Now, time for some questions people wanted me to answer while I will just let this play. Now, the first question I have gotten quite a few times is there any way I can add to the prize pool? Well, currently there's not, and that's pretty much for a very easy reason. Though I would love to let people add to the prize pool, I come from a country where well, credit cards are available, but they're normally only used by the rich, so I was looking at starting something like a Kickstarter page for something like that, but you need a credit card for that, and I'm not gonna get a credit card just for this. I might start to look at some other way. Personally, I have no idea how else I could accept donations, but I also want to make clear if these donations are, I want to have a system that is transparent so that people can see what was given. I want to be able to see who has given it so I can give honor to the people who deserve it. You know, sure, I started this competition, but if you put in $10, then I want to be able to name your name and say he added to the prize pool. So if anyone has any suggestions to how to do that, one of the other ways I could possibly do it is by PayPal. I use that currently system to buy ships and buy credits and pretty much everything on Star Citizen, but I don't know if there's a possibility to put a donation button on and how that exactly works. So I'm gonna look into that, but for now, no, unfortunately, there is not. There has also been people that said, well, then I just sent you a gift card of 10 Star Citizen units. As much as that's a nice idea, the problem is once a gift card is gifted, it cannot be given again, which pretty much means me that I need to buy something with it which cannot be gifted and then need to spend $10 of my own into it. Well, in theory, this is not a bad idea. The problem is currently there are no ships well, I'm planning on buying, so that money is just gonna sit there and be wasted. So it might be a solution, but it's not the solution I want to use. Now, one of the second question is, or at least one of the things I want to note, some people say, oh no, Chumlee is entering. Well, we better give up. Well, people, first thing I want to let you all to know, there is no way I'm letting anyone take an advantage just because I like their other ship designs. Each ship design will be judged separately. So, even though he has done some great work, and I've spoken to him in a few messages over and forward, and I think he's a great designer, I do not think he will be the one that actually wins, unless he comes up with the best design. That's just as clear as it is. Now, another concern I often see is, well, when is the end date? Well, I know it's gonna be in the 6th month, but I don't know the exact date yet because currently there's a lot of planning swooping around, especially at my work. It's pretty much from day to day it changes, so I do not have the ability to say it. It might even be a few days later or even the next month, but I'm aiming for the 6th month myself and I hope to get it out by then. But I'm also need to look at my fellow judge, which will likely be Nikki, aka Bad Girl, but I do not promise anything by now, but we're gonna try it. And some people have even claimed, well, how can we be sure you're gonna give the prize? Well, I've done a number of giveaways. You can pretty much look them up. You can look at them and ask any one of the previous winners. They all received the prize. And I'm not gonna skip out now. Why should I? I will only damage myself. And well, I don't want to do that. I'm only wanting to give to the community and not just take from it. But that's just my opinion, and everyone should have their own. Now, this question pretty much is kind of hard to read, and it's because it's in German. I'm sorry, German is not my main language. I do know a bit of German, so let me take a look if I can decipher it. What it pretty much says, as far as I'm thinking, what's from do you put? It's pretty much asking if I prefer a horizontal or a vertical flying wing. Now, of course, I prefer a horizontal one because I think that fits the bill more. Since this is not a combat ship. Question 5. Can we make it a combat ship too? Yeah, you can, but then you should not enter this competition. This competition is mostly focused on the people who are not focused on combat. And the design question is a freighter. A freighter is a ship which in general is used for cargo and stuff like that. Now, that said, that does not mean the ship needs to be defenseless or anything. You can make it a science ship, which has an extreme long range or something like that. I don't care. You can make it a science ship, a repair ship, a mining ship, everything, but it's not focused on combat. That's the main thing about a freighter. A freighter in general is a bit of a bigger, fatter ship. It's made for transporting stuff, people, goods. I can also see some people really creating a good science ship with this. Why not? You know, you got a big area, you can make a big science area inside and surprise me. It's not like it needs to be a cargo transporter. I can even see different roles for the ship which is currently on the back burner, which you can now see all. I can see this fulfilling many different roles. You know, if you put a few satellite discs which pop up on the back, you know, maybe will be an excellent explorer ship. And there are so many options. Racing ship is pretty much the only ship type I would say that, well, not being the best for flying wing, but the rest, I can see pretty much everything from a SAR ship to maybe even command and control in a small way, but I like to keep that on the bigger sides of ships. Now, this question I've been asked a lot. Why the hell a flying wing design? Well, I can be pretty clear about it. I like flying wings. That's it. I know some people may not, but I absolutely love flying wings, and seeing some of the images and some of the ships so far absolutely convinced me that flying wings are not a bad way to go. Flying wings look really damn cool. Now, one of the things I want to mention to you people, the next video update, I will be trying to take another ship into the background. Why? Because I think all ships are valuable. All ships must be seen. Now, if some people have some suggestions about how to set up a donating system so we can increase the prize pool together, feel free to message that to me personally. Please don't put that on this form because this form post really is mostly for the people which are designing the ships and giving them feedback. Also, feel free to give your feedback. Even if I don't agree with it, you might see something I have not seen. You might have some different opinions to me, and that goes for everyone. Now, one of the things I do want to point out is that some people say, well, a flying wing is not preferable. It's old technique. It's not used anymore. Well, still some of the most modern crafts in the world currently under design are flying wings. We even know Boeing is creating a flying wing passenger transport ship. Why? Because flying wings are more effective in atmosphere, but that does not mean that outside atmosphere they do not have advances. I pointed it out many times, those wings can be used for a number of things. They can use, like this one on the background, for extra heat sinks to lower your signature, lower is the definition, or even be used for placing in technical stuff to look for stuff like satellite dishes, sensors. All that stuff can be placed in the wings. Extra fuel, something which is kind of important for a ship, especially a spaceship if you want to go on long durations. You can pretty much put anything in those wings you want. You can even put sleeping places in the start of the wings. Though I would not advise that, but it is a possibility. Now, this was Edison Trent, and this is the update of 7th of February. I hope you all keep enjoying this competition, and I hope many more will enter. Please be aware that anyone can win. One of the questions I, however, would like to ask you, if possible, put some interior inside the ship if you have spare time over. That means first make sure the outside looks good, but if you can make the inside look good, or even just give a simple loadout of how it's gonna look. A top view with walls and where the cargo space is gonna be, or where are you gonna place the share space, or where are you gonna place the bed. Stuff like that really helps me with figuring out what your design exactly is, and I also really love to see stuff like that. Also, if you can, try to get images from pretty much any corner of your ship. While this ship actually did it really nice from top and from front and from the side, there are some things I would like to see with the ship, and that's some more detail on the back. I would like to see a bit more of that information in this case on how do the turrets look. I like to see some more stuff like that. But that does not mean it's a hard demand, it's just a request from me. Now, I all hope you enjoy the competition and have a nice day. Edison Trent out. I'll speak to you later.